City News on TV Rotorua is proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.
Good evening, Rotorua. Tonight on City News. A star-studded lineup is set for tomorrow's 19th year of the Rotorua Lakeside Concert. Z Energy's Good in the Hood program is giving back to the community, and police staff compete in the New Zealand Police Association raft race. The annual Rotorua Lakeside Concert is marking its 19th year tomorrow night with a star-studded lineup. Some of the biggest names in Kiwi music, including Annie Crummer, Opshop's Jason Kerrison and Pene Pate from Solomeo, will entertain crowds at the Village Green.
Well, first thing is, this is a free community concert, so we set out to make the concert free and accessible for every citizen of the region. So that's the first thing. But look, it's a wonderful lineup of talent.
The event is free to attend and kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Z Energy is running their Good in the Hood, with every Z station giving away $5,000 to help their neighbourhoods. Of this $5,000 per station, $4,000 will be distributed between 4 neighbourhood groups or projects that are selected by local Z stations to be part of the Good in the Hood program for 2015.
Lets the customers decide which charities in their community they'd like to support. So if our certain demographic of a site supports that charity the most, then the money is split up based on what they say.
We have the extended interview with Glenn Carlson coming up later. A unique temporary art installation set up yesterday on Rotorua's lakefront is already being photographed by hundreds of visitors to the city, with Lake Rotorua and Makuia Island setting as the scenic backdrop. The installation, called Imagine, features giant Scrabble letters assembled to spell out the word imagine, with the second I missing. People are encouraged to become part of the artwork by standing in the gap to recreate the missing I with their body and being photographed completing the Scrabble word. It will remain at Lakeside for a month before being relocated to Government Gardens, where the museum will then provide the second scenic backdrop until the end of April. In sport tonight, 180 police staff from across the North Island competed in today's annual New Zealand Police Association raft race on Rotorua's Kaituna River. This year's event included 2 different race types, whitewater rafting and river surfing. 36 teams of 4 people competed in the whitewater rafting, coming from as far away as Wellington and Northland. We'll have further coverage of the event with full interviews next week. To your weather update now. Tonight, light winds and an overnight low of 13. We'll have a full forecast of the weekend's weather coming up after City News, thanks to Met Service. You can access all your weather information at metservice.com. For program listings or to watch City News again, visit our website tvrotorua.co.nz, and remember to check out our TV Rotorua Facebook page. Coming up on City News, the Civic Theatre is set to celebrate 75 years. We find out all about the celebration. We're at Z Energy Fenton Street with the full story about Good in the Hood. And for those of you wanting to know more about tomorrow night's Lakeside concert, stay tuned as we have the extended interview with organiser Ian Edwards.
Well, 75 years of enjoying the Rotorua Civic Theatre is about to be celebrated, and in style. I'm with Richard Marshall, who is of course the Rotorua Lakes Council Performing Arts Manager, and you must be pretty happy to be the one in charge at the 75th.
It's very exciting. When you think back that Rotorua has had this building for the past 75 years, it's the prime time to celebrate what's been through that building in those 75 years and the number of people that have been entertained by coming into the centre.
So what do you know about the history? Can you give us a little bit, some of the big things that have happened in there?
So it started off originally opening in July 1940 as a movie theatre, and up in the Don Stafford room actually at the library there's a big file on the life of the building over the last 75 years that Don Stafford did start to collect information about, which is great. So it goes back, shows you photos of the first film that was shown in there and the history through there. So originally it opened as a movie theatre, the Regent Theatre, and then in the early 1970s it was redeveloped into a performance venue. So the fly floor was added on, there was some wing space created, and the building opened up as a theatre. And Rotorua Musical Theatre, who were then Rotorua Operatic Society, opened in 1971, I think it was, with Funny Girl. And it was a delayed opening because there were a lot of technical glitches. I think the show finally got off the ground about 9:30, 10 o'clock that night. So there's been a lot of history over the years. Then, of course, it went through the changes in the 1990s when it became the Rotorua Convention Centre and incorporated all three parts of the complex into one.
And so we can see, we're actually sitting just out from the Rotorua Lakes Council, and across the road we can see the old building. And as we're walking past, Richard was explaining to me what's what, and this was the old door and this was the old entrance, and I would have never known because you just walk past, it's kind of hidden away. So can you tell me a little bit about those people if they want to come down and have a look just close to the council? Tell us a little bit about what those entrances were.
Yes, so the entrance from the Hope Upper Street side, which is just opposite the Rotorua RSA, you'll see some old doors there, and there's some brown doors which go into what was originally the concert chamber. So that was a standalone part of the building where concert recitals were held. I think on a weekly basis they used to have a multicultural performance in there as well. So over the years the concert chamber was used by many different parts of the community, and it was a community performance space. Concerts were recited in there. Schools used it for events, and local little theatre used to perform in there as well. So that was the part of the building which is on the Hope Upper Street side, and then you had the Regent Theatre, which became the Civic Theatre, which was just back further from the concert chamber, and over to the other side you had the original part of the council buildings, which is where council offices were based, and the library was actually based for a while as well. So in the middle between all three of those buildings was the Spanish style garden, and many people will remember the fountain that used to be in there. And then out the front, just along Fenton Street as well, there was also the fountain that would be lit up at night when there was a production on in the theatre.
Wow, I would have loved to have seen those days. We have to go up to the library. I'm sure there'll be some photos around somewhere.
There are lots of photos, and there are lots in the museum as well. And for Celebrate 75, we're putting together a display that we can have in the foyer the week leading up to the event in July, so that people can come and have a look at what has happened to the building over the years.
Great. So tell me a little bit more about the celebrations and what they're going to include.
Sure. So Celebrate 75 is to celebrate the 75th birthday, and we thought, why not open the doors to the community so that they can all be part of that celebration. So what we're going to do is have events from the 1940s, the 1950s, 1960s, 70s, all the way through to today for 10-minute slots, and we're asking the community to submit an expression of interest and say, yep, we want to be part of this event and showcase our talents and celebrate the 75th birthday. Wow. They might choose like a 1980s era, and they might do a song and dance from Fame, leg warmers, all the psychedelic colours.
Get people excited. I'll be into a bit of that.
And we've got the 60s, so we've got the hippie era, the 70s, Saturday Night Fever era. So there's a whole lot of different eras that people can choose to be part of Celebrate 75 and come along and make it a night to remember. Yeah.
So how can people get involved? Where do they find you? Where do they put their name down?
Okay, so get in touch with us at council. So ring the main council number 3484 say that you'd like to be part of Celebrate 75. They can email you through the application form, or they can post one out to you as well.
Wow, yeah. That is so cool. That's really exciting. So can you explain to me then the difference between the Howard Morrison Performing Arts Centre, which has just been newly named, and the Civic Theatre Centre?
Sure. So within the Sir Howard Morrison Performing Arts Centre, we have the three different buildings in there. We've got the Civic Theatre, which is the main performing venue. We have over to the left, if you're standing facing the building, the banquet room, and then over to the right, the concert chamber. So the Sir Howard Morrison Performing Arts Centre encompasses all three of those venue options, really. Yeah.
Wonderful. So nice to acknowledge him too. One of the changes now that we're in the modern day.
Exactly. So the building's been rebranded. We're working through some engagement with the community at the moment to see what they want to see come to the centre, how they want to use the centre. So if anyone is interested in being part of that, then please get in touch with us at Council as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good in the Hood is back with Z, so thank you so very much, Rotorua community, for getting in your votes for those previous years. With me today, I'm joined by Glenn Carlson, retail manager down here at Z on Fenton Street. Glenn, Good in the Hood, what is it?
Good in the Hood's Z's annual neighbourhood community sponsorship program, so it's where most of our corporate sponsorship goes. Yeah.
And how was it initiated?
This is its third year running, and about 3 years ago when Z changed its branding from Shell to Z Energy and became known as Z nationally. Z stands for New Zealand, so then that naturally said where should the corporate sponsorship be applied, and it essentially we arrived at a place where we should sponsor the neighbourhoods that we operate in. So when you see this voting in Good in the Hood, it literally stands for good in the neighbourhood, and each store all around the country is quite unique in some cases to its neighbourhood, so that's who we try to support.
Gosh, there must have been a lot of thought that goes into this, because it's really, really unique, and it's the first of its kind, a voting process in a store like this. So tell me, why is it important for Z to support the community?
Well, it's something Z's quite proud of, because and there was a lot of thought that went into it. The marketing team in Wellington that works for Z are really good at their job, and the retailers that they work with were really passionate about supporting the places where they work. So if we just become another multinational or another corporate name, it doesn't quite as mean as much to our customers, and a lot of these charities, charity workers, mostly unpaid, lots of stories out there in that space. They all shop with us, so if they shop with us, that's who we should be supporting. Yeah.
Very nice. So it's about money going back into the community in which we are in.
Yep, definitely, and it's also the voting phase of it, which is a bit of fun. It emphasises it, it gives publicity to those charities, but it also lets the customers decide which charities in their community they'd like to support. So if our certain demographic of a site supports that charity the most, then the money is split up based on what they say. Yeah.
So that really is important. So who have we got so far? Who have you sponsored so far?
We've sponsored around the country thousands of charities in the last 3 years. Some very familiar ones like your volunteer fire brigades, your St John's, your rescue helicopters, those sorts of things. And the rescue organisation's always near and dear to everyone because of need, obviously. But it goes a lot deeper than that. It goes to growing through grief, women's refuge. I just go on and on. It's huge. And as an example, here in Rotorua last year at the Fenton Street site, breast cancer victim support, growing through grief, and epilepsy, Rotorua. So, it's all about when charities are operating close to a station, i.e. there might be a volunteer fire brigade next to our station, which is a great thing to have next to a petrol station, and of course we'd support them. There might be a Red Cross or Salvation Army. Salvation Army Rotorua, they're really, really well known. They do a lot of really good work in this community, and we've supported them every year.
Very nice. So how did these organisations get their name up here?
What they do is they nominate themselves, or people can nominate for them, and that's done through a couple of different ways. We, as a national organisation, contact the charities database. There's Charities Commission or database, whatever it is, so they will get notified of it. Plus there's a website, so the Z Energy website, there's a link to Good in the Hood, so if they just go to zenergy.co.nz, there's a link to Good in the Hood, and there's an online application process there. And it's a pretty simple criteria that we'd like to see the being in the community that we are operating in, so they can nominate themselves for a particular station. And primarily the one big criteria we're looking for is people helping people. So it's we're a people company, we're a New Zealand company, and we just want to help New Zealand people that are helping New Zealand people.
Very nice. And so when will we see these voting booths in store?
We'll start through the month of March and April. We'll assess those nominations. Unfortunately, we get a lot of nominations, and there's so many good charities out there, so some people will unfortunately might not be selected or miss out this year, and hopefully they'll get picked up next year. And then on the 1st of May, we'll have these voting boxes back in store, and every customer, every transaction, everyone that wants one, every kid that wants to have a bit of fun, they're all encouraged to grab one token every time they shop with us and vote on their way out. And that'll run from the 1st of May through to the 31st of May.
Very, very good. So there you have it, Rotorua, from the 1st of May to the 31st of May. Get voting, because it's your vote that counts. Thank you so very much for your time.
Thank you.
2015 Lakeside Concert is happening tomorrow night, and as you can hear and see behind us, construction is still on the way. But hey, with me I have Ian Edwards, whom is the chairman for the Rotorua Lakeside Concert. Thank you so very much for joining us today, Ian.
My pleasure. First time you've been to Lakeside, so I hope you're going to enjoy the experience, because certainly we have. This is our 19th annual concert. We think that's pretty significant.
It's very significant. It must be very successful, hence why it's been going for 19 years. So please tell me, what have we got to look forward to this year?
Well, first thing is, this is a free community concert, so we set out to make the concert free and accessible for every citizen of the region. So that's the first thing. But look, it's a wonderful lineup of talent. We always, the end of each year, end up with a blank piece of paper. We have no money and we have no idea of what we're going to do the next year. Now, you may have seen the lineup in the paper, and we are so excited with what is being presented tomorrow night.
Now tell me, for all our locals who maybe they haven't come down to a Lakeside concert before in the past, or maybe they have, but how should they come down? How should they enjoy the evening?
Well, it's open to everybody, and our experience tells us that sort of come half time, it's standing room only. We can't estimate just how many people come. What we know is that it ends up being an absolutely full house. So there'll be people that are sitting, taking their place from probably 1 o'clock onwards on Saturday, and depending on what the weather gods deliver for us, we will expect a big crowd.
Oh, I could imagine so. So Ian, how's it been going thus far? How is all the preparation going?
Well, we start a year out is the reality. We appoint an artistic director, and that's the first thing that's different this year, where normally it's one person. This year we have 4 people that have put this concert together. Shane Cortez, the actor, singer. We've got Tina Cross, we all know and love Tina. We've got Candy Lane, the dancer. We know her from the Dancing in the Stars program. And Mark Dennison, who is the television musical director that has been Lakeside's musical director these last 6 years. So they've put together this wonderful program, and we might want to talk about some of the artists that, that are coming.
Yes, please.
That Amanda Billing, we know her from television. Tina, of course, we've mentioned her. We've got, well, Rotorua's own Sharon Emirelli is well known to us. Annie Crummer, she's an absolute favourite, and she's going to be performing with a group of young people from Rotorua primary schools doing some excerpts from the Annie show. She's wonderful. Jason Kerrison, we all know Jason with his New Zealand's Got Talent. Daryl Lovegrove was Australia's Entertainment Artist of the Year last year, a New Zealander back home just for this concert. And we've got a group we're really interested in, the Modern Maori Quartet. They've been on TV with Timamura Morrison, and they are so much fun. Russell Harrison is there. Candy Lane and her dancers, but there's a special guest. We all know Solar 3 Mio and how successful they have been, but the main singer from that group, Pene Pate, is going to be performing the classical component of the evening. So that is a very, very special guest that we've got on. So look, something for everyone.
Something definitely for everyone. So let's talk health and safety. What's your recommendations for arrival times?
Absolutely. Look, really important that there'll be people, as I say, gathering from early afternoon onwards. But if it were me, I'd be making my way down here, perhaps to enjoy the porphyry starting at 7 o'clock. So I'd want my seat probably from 6:30 onwards. Come join the maddening crowds. Simple things. It could well be hot. It could well be a bit cold. So just come with a bit of sunscreen and perhaps something warm for later in the evening. There may even be a drop or two of rain. So that's important. And then just low chairs.
Yes.
It's really important that we're kind to each other and that we think of each other and just simply come down and enjoy the family atmosphere.
Thank you so very much for your time, Ian. So there you have it, Rotorua community. You are all invited. Why? Because it's free and it's for you. Lakeside 2015 happening tomorrow night.
The Lakeside Community Concert is a free family-friendly event held annually at the Village Green. Tomorrow night's show kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Thanks for joining us tonight. We hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Ko Maria Rotorua.
City News on TV Rotorua was proudly brought to you by Rotorua Central.